Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
1015 FM KDAWN.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
Holy body slams, Batman! Wow! What a week! Oh my God! We may need 3 hours. I hate to say it, but somebody might have to get preempted just because we had way too much going on. But unreal week. Yeah, sorry to the Asset Preservation Hour, but the Mark Hoke Show may have to take precedence this week because title belts, crazy news, just an unreal month of April. It just will not go away as the lunacy that is professional wrestling just took it up another notch. They're going to be talking about April 2024 for a really long time. It kicked off with WrestleMania, and you would have thought that, Cody Rhodes winning the WWE Championship at WrestleMania was going to be enough. It has not. And this week, no exception to the rule, as we crowned a few new world champions all over the place. I mean, we're going to get to talk with Matt Black about this. And it was funny, of course, Matt, one of the senior editors over at WrestleZone.com. And I just asked Matt, what do you want to talk about? And there's anything he wanted to mention. He's just was whatever. It wasn't lacking in news this week. And yeah, we have so much to hit as we've got a new world champion in AEW. We've got a new WWE Women's Champion. We have a new champion in AAA. That's the promotion in Mexico. We have a AEW boss running around in a neck brace. And a lot of people hitting the injured list this week, too, or staying on it. Just a ton of news. So we're going to get into it with yours truly, Mark Hoke. Thanks for being with us here on the Mark Hoke Show on KDAWN 1015 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. Of course, we're also out there streaming on that Odyssey app. So make sure you download that. Just do it. Grab your phone. Do it right now because you can listen to us wherever you are on this great planet. It's a terrific app and all sorts of awesome shows, like Sports X Radio. We got to work. Of course, I produced that one on here on KDAWN as well with Ken Thompson, and had the honor last night. And I want to give a huge thanks. Was not expecting to get to do this, but Steve Sanchez, for whatever reason, could not make the Brian Kilmeade History, Liberty, and Laughs tour show at Green Valley Ranch yesterday. And I got to go up with Ken Thompson on stage with Brian Kilmeade from Fox News and say hi to everybody. A good 1,000 people in that theater, and just get a little thanks, and say hi to Brian and all of our listeners out there on KDAWN. And what a thrill that was! And obviously, when you get on stage with a celebrity like that, it is truly an honor. And I want to thank Brian Kilmeade for having us up on stage, and to my boss, Mark Bonilla, for trusting me to go up and do that. So thank you very much. And got a little plug in for the show. It was a blast. So, and got to recommend that for you. No matter what side of the aisle you're on, if you get to see Brian's show, it's a very inspirational show talking about, what some of the great sports legends have done to succeed. And, a lot of history along the way, too. Yeah, there's some conservative leanings in there. Absolutely. But I got to tell you, I learned a lot last night and was really inspired. Some of the ideas I'm actually cooking up here, cemented it a little bit. So, great show. So I would recommend it. Just go check it out if Brian does come to your town with us. It was something else. All right, so let's get into it, shall we? The only place to start is Sunday, I suppose. So last week we did a little preview of AEW Dynasty. And let's take a look at what happened, shall we? Just kind of run down this card for you. So Trent Beretta, the bad Trent, who's no longer a best friend with his buddy Chuck Taylor, wrestled Matt Sydal, gets a win there. And of course, that set up a showdown later in the week with Chuck Taylor. They had a little parking lot brawl and Trent took out Chuck. Referee stoppage on that one. But Trent Beretta, a winner there. Shibata and Orange Cassidy take out the Shane Taylor Promotions boys. There are new unified AEW World Trios champions. They unified those titles with the Ring of Honor World Six-Man Championships. Kind of hope it stays that way. I really don't think we need 2 six-man titles. But Bullet Club Gold, Jay White, Austin, and Colton Gunner, your new World Trios champions, unified. I'm guessing they're going to be going with AEW World Trios champions. So they knock off Anthony Bowens, Max Caster, and Billy Gunn. They kind of moved on pretty quickly from that, as the Acclaimed got to mess around with the grizzled young veterans who showed up this week. But Bullet Club Gold are your new AEW World Trios champs. Okada, great match with Pac. Oh, those guys beat the hell out of each other for a good half hour. But Kazuchika Okada, the Rainmaker, of course, Japanese legend, signed with AEW, is your winner in that one. But a great match. And I just hope that everybody keeps getting reminded how good Pac is. Just, he keeps, he's gotten hurt a couple of times. But man, he's something special. Just unreal. So nice match for both of those guys. The House of Black, of course, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews get the win on Adam Copeland, Eddie Kingston, and Mark Briscoe. That's setting up a war here between Copeland and Malachi Black over the TNT title. And I would imagine we'll probably be getting that at Double or Nothing here in Las Vegas. And Las Vegas continues to become a wrestling hub. Man, we thought we were going to be getting a break after Double or Nothing. Nope, we'll be talking about that later in the show. Willow Nightingale. Yeah, I guess I wasn't sure how this one was going to go, but I suppose I should have been thinking ahead a little bit. She does defeat Julia Hart in a House Rules match for the AEW TBS Championship. So they barred Sky Blue and Chris Statlander from the ringside area. Willow Nightingale walks out with the TBS Championship. And, of course, later on in the week, gets into it with Mercedes Moné, and that match got announced for Double or Nothing. So it's going to be Willow and Mercedes. And that one goes back away in Japan because those two had wrestled and Mercedes got hurt. So Mercedes Moné and Willow Nightingale, they're going to be one of the headlining matches coming up at Double or Nothing right here in Las Vegas. Roderick Strong knocks off Kyle O'Reilly, the former friends in the Undisputed Era in WWE. And, of course, going way back to the Ring of Honor days. Well, Roderick Strong holds on to his AEW International Championship. So Roderick Strong remains a champion. Chris Jericho. Oh, boy. He takes the FTW Championship away from Hook. So we have a new FTW champion. Of course, that now just the one that Taz made up a while ago. And that had been passed on down to Hook by various channels there. But it is Chris Jericho, who is kind of waning in popularity a little bit, but The man now known as the Learning Tree is the FTW champion, taking out the youngster Hook. Timeless Toni Storm holds off Thunder Rosa. She will remain the AEW Women's World Champion as she just keeps putting in the work. Toni Storm going crazy and trying to hold on to her Mariah May as well. But Toni Storm retains the AEW Women's title. Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson, what a match. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You know, a lot of people thought this was going to be the match that would steal the show. Yeah. Unreal. These two guys, there's a reason that a lot of people consider them probably two of the top 5 on the world, maybe even top 3. Yeah, they did it. But Will Ospreay gets the win on Danielson. So unfortunately, the Bryan Danielson losing tour does continue. And I'm, talked about that a little bit last week. Danielson taking losses. He's getting to wrestle whoever he wants, but he's losing. Why is Bryan Danielson losing all these matches? I mean, I know he's having a great time, and and look, Ospreay's on a big push. I get it. But can Bryan win one? That would be nice. But Ospreay rolls on, and he's got himself a match coming up at Double or Nothing as well. That's already been set up due to what happened later this week. We'll talk about that. The Young Bucks. We're going to talk about them later, too. Get a little help from the scapegoat, Jack Perry. Comes in, helps out the boys, and they defeat FTR, become AEW's first 3-time World Tag Team Champions. So Matthew and Nicholas are your new AEW World Tag Team Champions in that ladder match, winning the tournament, and they have gold again. And they've got something else, too. They got some trouble. That is a headline story, and we're going to talk about that later on in the show. We also do have a new AEW World Champion, Swerve Strickland. That's right, and we do have a great interview up with Swerve on our YouTube channel at the Mark Hoke Show if you want to check that out. But Swerve with Prince Nana dancing by his side defeats Samoa Joe, and Swerve Strickland is now the AEW World Champ, the first black AEW champion. And, it'd be nice when we can just start talking about, they're the champ. But it certainly was a source of pride for Swerve, and, should be proud of it too. And it certainly didn't take that long. That's just kind of the way things go. But Swerve Strickland earned that right and just did an amazing job ever since he had kind of had the split with Keith Lee when they won the world tag titles, has stood out among everybody in AEW. No question about it. And a nice 18-minute match. Swerve Strickland knocks off Samoa Joe and is your new AEW World Champion. So we got a few title changes out there in St. Louis. And Swerve Strickland, your new World Champion. And, got a really great match with Claudio Castagnoli. I mentioned when I had Claudio in here, so we're getting ready for that AEW Collision Super Bowl weekend. Talked to him about challenging for the AEW World title, and boy, they put on a hell of a match on Saturday at Collision. But congratulations to Swerve, and well-deserved. Guy from my area. Of course, he's listed as being from up in Washington State, but didn't live there very long. He spent most of his time in South Central Pennsylvania, and so kind of a hometown boy for me. Makes good. So way to go. But a lot of fallout from that coming this week. And the biggest one, the biggest fallout was for the AEW CEO, Tony Khan. You have to be living under a rock to see what happened. Not see what happened, but we're going to talk about it a little bit later on. But there's some other business we have to discuss as well. Like, who is the new WWE Women's Champion? That's right. We got a new Women's Champ. Rhea Ripley had to give up that belt. Well, there's a new lady on top. We'll find out who that was when we come back here on the Mark Hoke Show. And Matt Black from WrestleZone coming up in hour number 2. Stick around, everybody. We got more on the Mark Hoke Show coming back a little bit.
Paid for by government. Did you hear? A secret hoard of 1907 $10 gold Liberty coins has been found. These gorgeous 1907p gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling the secret U.S. gold coin discovery a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you can own a piece of the hoard. When you call, you are guaranteed a 1907 gold Liberty struck at the iconic Philadelphia Mint. With limited availability, you must call now. These 1907 dated gold coins are still in uncirculated condition with brilliant luster. That is 117 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-495-6468. Call now and you'll receive a free bonus, a $50 value free with every order. Call 1-800-495-6468 now to secure your 1907p $10 gold Liberty coins before they sell out. That's 1-800-495-6468.
In Nevada, anything that goes into the storm drain goes directly to our local waterways, which can pollute Nevada's lakes and rivers. Nevada is the driest state in the nation, and we must work together to preserve our limited water resources for future generations of Nevadans. Here's some waterway wisdom so you can help do your part this spring. Clean up vehicle leaks and spills. Scoop your dog's poop, bag it, and discard it. Apply fertilizers and pesticides sparingly. Avoid sprinkler runoff. Don't litter. Secure trash in bins. Keep contaminants out of our storm drains. Use waterway wisdom. And remember, only rain should go into the storm drain. Join us in preserving Nevada's waters for future generations by visiting lovenvwaters.com and following us on social media. This message sponsored by the Nevada Department of Transportation, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
Ready for your next vacation? Not so fast. Before you hit the road, remember these healthy habits to keep yourself and others safe and sanitary. Wash your hands after using the restroom, before eating and after blowing your nose. Sanitize airplane seats and tray tables. Sneeze or cough into a tissue or your elbow. And avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth with unwashed hands. Lastly, make sure you're up to date on all your routine vaccines, including the COVID-19 vaccine. It's also important to get tested when necessary, such as if you develop COVID-19 symptoms before, during, or after travel. If you'll be traveling to visit someone who is at a higher risk of getting very sick from COVID-19, or if you're in a situation with a greater risk of exposure during travel. Pack these tips on your next adventure. And remember, travel safely, Nevadans. This message is sponsored by a CDC grant through the Nevada Department of Health and Human Services, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
1015 FM KDAWN.
This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
Come on, let's do some more pro wrestling news, entertainment, have a great time on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 1015 FM, Talk of Las Vegas. We are our top-rated live show here on KDAWN, and we certainly do appreciate that. Means a lot. And all to those of you out there listening, boy, I'll tell you what, we've got a lot more coming in Las Vegas in the world of pro wrestling. Not only all the great indie shows that go on here, like Future Stars of Wrestling, our good friends over there, Joe DeFalco and that gang, but Double or Nothing coming up here in Las Vegas Memorial Day weekend. Of course, that is going to be on May 26th over at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. And I'm sure we'll be doing some stuff with AEW. That should be an awesome time. And we're going to try and do some extra little things too. But WWE just announced another event here in Las Vegas. In case you haven't noticed, people like having wrestling events in Las Vegas. We are the entertainment capital of the world. NXT Battleground will be here in Las Vegas at the UFC Apex Center. So that should be something else. Looking forward to having NXT almost right down the street from us. We just kind of hop over 215 and go down the street about a block, and NXT Battleground is going to be just down the road. So more pro wrestling events in Las Vegas. And there's more to come, too. We're going to have an announcement about a special event that's going to be happening mid-September here as well. So looking forward to giving you the skinny on that one. But pro wrestling just doesn't stop here in Las Vegas. Just coming off TNA Rebellion, which was an awesome event over at the Palms, and Double or Nothing. Now NXT Battleground, and still waiting if WrestleMania is going to be coming up. And like I said, Birdie's telling me there's going to be something pretty cool happening. We'll see if that Birdie is tweeting to me correctly. But boy, it just gets more and more exciting. Everything going on here in Las Vegas. But happy to have you with us on the Mark Hoke Show. And I am Mark Hoke. Thanks for joining us here on KDAWN. Speaking of WWE, this week, of course, Rhea Ripley had been injured. That freak accident that messed up one of her AC joints. Of course, that's in your shoulder there. Kind of keeps everything together. Well, we had to crown a new women's champion. WWE decided no tournament. We're doing a battle royal. We're going to settle this thing quickly and move on. The winner is Becky Lynch. The man wins the battle royal. She is the new WWE Women's World Champion. She knocks off Liv Morgan to wrap it up. Nia Jax was in the final three as well. But pretty wild finish. Well, I'll tell you, Liv, stay off those aprons. Aye. Every time Liv Morgan gets in a big battle royal for a championship, she gets in a fight on the apron and gets knocked out. Liv, come on. Just stay in the middle of the ring. That's the safe part. So, you go over the top rope and then you fight. If you fight on the apron, you're still, no, Liv, sweetie. You're smart. You're crazy. We love you. Just go over apron, roll back in. Don't let everybody beat you up out there. Come on. I don't want you to win. But Becky Lynch is the new WWE Women's World Champion. An interesting choice. Of course, she is now a 5-time WWE Women's Champion and 7-time overall World Champion in WWE. And the man, of course, I believe I'm not sure if she signed her new contract yet, but we'll see about that. But Becky Lynch will be at least, I don't know if you want to call her a placeholder or not. I don't know if that's fair to call. I can't imagine calling Becky Lynch a placeholder in WWE, but of course, Rhea Ripley was bound and determined to stay on top, because mommy's always on top. But Becky will be holding down the fort while Rhea recovers from this shoulder problem. Probably going to keep her out a few months while she recovers. Just sprained it, but the problem with that AC joint is that once you mess that up, it takes a while to recover, and they don't expect her to need surgery on it. But what happens with Becky? Do we get another feud with Nia Jax? Is it going to be Liv Morgan, who's on this revenge tour kick? Will this be quick? Was this just a move to put it on Becky because she's of her incredible popularity and the performance that she had put on with Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, which was one of the top matches at the Showcase of the Immortals in Philadelphia this year? Intriguing choice. There are probably some people out there that would have liked to have seen it go somewhere else. But, can't complain too much about it, I don't think. So Becky Lynch, your new WWE Women's Champion. WWE also crowned a new champion. If you haven't seen this, they're doing what's called speed matches that they're hosting on Peacock, and where they're 3-minute matches. And Ricochet has won a tournament to become the first WWE Speed Champion. So pretty intriguing there. Typically you wouldn't think that you'd be able to win a match in 3 minutes usually, But, they're giving their high flyers and their fast workers a chance to show off what they can do. And Ricochet is your first WWE Speed Champion. So, a good belt designed for more of the lighter guys that can work quick. So Ricochet, congratulations to him. So he new WWE Speed Champion. I'm gonna skip what happened at AEW on Wednesday at Dynamite just for a second. Just for a second. I promise you we're gonna get back to it. But a big congratulations goes out to another champion. Because of course El Hijo del Vikingo was the AAA Mega Champion out there in the top promotion in Mexico. CMLL might have something to say about that. But this is pretty interesting. Nick Nemeth headed on down south of the border, and he is your new AAA Mega Champion. So Nick Nemeth bringing home another title. So he has the New Japan Global Championship and the AAA Mega Championship. That's an interesting little combination. But congratulations to Nick. Of course, he came up short here in Las Vegas of winning the Impact World Championship. But a little bit of a surprise there. He wrestled, and this was a very interesting setup. Now, some of the stuff read about the match that his opponent wasn't exactly maybe in the best of shape. His opponent was Alberto El Patron, of course, formerly known as Alberto Del Rio. And we all remember that when Nick, of course, as Dolph Ziggler, who did he cash his Money in the Bank briefcase in on? In one of the more memorable moments in WWE history with Money in the Bank cash-ins? Alberto Del Rio. That's right. But some people were saying Alberto wasn't in his typical ring shape. We'll just say that. But a solid match. But Nick Nemeth is a double champion in two different organizations now. Of course, the New Japan Global Championship is not the top championship there. But pretty intriguing for Nick that all of a sudden he gets out of WWE and a few months later, he's become a pretty hot commodity. And, I had a chance to talk to Nick about that a little bit. And, he's just loving life right now and enjoying being able to be off the sidelines and do what he wants to do. And boy, this has just got to mean the world to him. I am so happy for the guy because one thing that I just think he's one of the top guys out there. I mean, the guy could wrestle with anybody. He goes from having a pretty good match with Moose, who's a 6'5" monster, and then he can go out and wrestle a junior heavyweight and not even blink an eye. Just fantastic performer, great guy, and couldn't be happier for him. So at least for now, Nick Nemeth is gonna be sitting on that AAA Mega Championship. So pretty nice run for him there. Way to go. And it's funny that he's the first wrestler not named Vikingo to hold the belt since 2021. So, and like I said, Vikingo was injured. So an interesting name to throw in there. And, one thing that's intriguing too is, obviously AAA taking advantage of, his name to throw him in there as world champion, but Impact chose not to. And you would think that when a name like that, and of course, once again, was known as Dolph Ziggler for a very long time in WWE, you would think that Impact would have really jumped on that opportunity to have a guy like that out front. But they said, nope, we're going to, if they're holding off or whatever they're doing, of course, the TV tapings are coming out, and he and Matt Hardy had a discussion in the ring, and after Nick had lost, and they're both trying to regroup and go after Moose and the system. But it's fascinating that TNA decided, no, we're going to stick with our guys, at least for now. We're going to at least drag this out. If they have plans to get the title on Nick at some point, well, at least they're doing it in a manner that is going to be more of a slow burn, like Cody Rhodes, as opposed to, hey, just going to run him in here and knock our guy off, clear him out, and we're going to put Nick on top. Now, of course, they did the opposite with Mustafa Ali. Ali shows up first night and wins the X Division title for TNA. So it's very intriguing to see the different booking philosophies that you get from different companies. And heck, even within the company. We're going to hotshot this guy, but this guy, no. So pretty interesting turn of events there. But Nick Nemeth is your new AAA Mega Champion. Huh. Way to go. Good job, Nick. We're rooting for you out there, buddy. So unbelievable. Yeah, and of course, Nick doesn't have anything WWE, but WWE Backlash is coming up too. So we're gonna be getting to talk about that card coming up here in a little bit. Boy, it just doesn't stop, does it? It's pretty exciting when you see all the great wrestling going on around the world. Someone who's going to get some backlash, though, I have a feeling. Bad Nick and Bad Matt, the scapegoat, Okada. They're going to be in a little bit of trouble. Just a little. Because they did something they shouldn't have done. Oh, boy. And we're going to take a break and come back and talk about it. Oh. Tony Khan drivered. Stick around, everybody. We'll tell you what happened on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the Talk of Las Vegas, the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. Thanks for listening. We got a whole lot more for you coming up. And, of course, Matt Black from WrestleZone. We'll be right back.
My son stopped talking to me. He didn't want to leave his room.
I didn't feel like talking to anyone. I just wanted to be alone.
I was really worried about my daughter. She was angry all the time.
I felt so depressed.
I was really worried about my daughter. I couldn't do anything right. I was always getting yelled at.
My son told me he wanted to hurt himself. I was so scared.
I was feeling hopeless. It was all too much.
We needed help.
We needed help.
We needed help.
We needed help.
I needed help.
I called the mobile crisis response team, and we met with them that same day.
A crisis team came to my house and helped me talk to my parents about how I was feeling.
I called the mobile crisis response team. They met with us that day.
I talked to them about how I was feeling, and it really helped.
Sometimes understanding what children are experiencing can be difficult. The Nevada Children's Mobile Crisis Response Team provides mental health intervention and support. Learn more at nocrisis.com.
This message sponsored by the FBI Las Vegas Citizens Academy Alumni Association, a nonprofit organization separate and apart from the FBI in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association.
For 30 years, the LGBTQ Center of Nevada has been a safe and welcoming place to celebrate and serve the entire community. The center advocates for the empowerment and safety of everyone. It provides wellness services for better mental, physical, and holistic health. And the center connects people to the community. Learn more at thecenterlv.org. This message is sponsored by a grant through the Sands Corporation, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
The FBI is engaged in a nationwide effort to build public awareness of hate crimes and encourage reporting to law enforcement. Hate crimes include crimes committed on the basis of the victim's perceived or actual race, color, religion, national origin, sexual orientation, gender identity, or disability. Hate crimes are not only an attack on the victim, they are meant to threaten and intimidate an entire community. If you believe you are a victim or a witness of a hate crime, we encourage you you to report it to the FBI by calling 1-800-CALL-FBI or submit a tip at tips.fbi.gov. You may remain anonymous. Again, report suspected hate crimes by calling 1-800-CALL-FBI or submit a tip at tips.fbi.gov. The FBI works to protect all victims of crimes, regardless of their country of national origin or immigration status. The FBI encourages victims and witnesses of any hate-related incident to report it to law enforcement. This message sponsored by the FBI Las Vegas Division, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
Unsafe sleep conditions cause serious injury and even death to infants. Never sleep with your baby on a sofa, in a chair, or in an adult bed. Protect the baby you love from becoming a tragic statistic. The only safe place for your baby to sleep is alone, on its back, in a crib, and in your room. For more information, visit cribsforkids.org. That's cribsforkids.org. This message is sponsored by the Division of Public and Behavioral Health, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
You're pregnant, and no matter what you do, no matter what you try, you can't stop using alcohol, drugs, or tobacco. But no matter how lost you are, how far along you are, it's not too late. There's always hope. And there are many safe places that can help you stop using. In Nevada, pregnant women are given the highest priority for substance use treatment. Low-cost treatment options may be available so you and your baby can get healthy now. If you or someone you love is pregnant or thinking about getting pregnant and using alcohol, drugs, or tobacco, visit SoberMomsHealthyBabies.org or call 211 to find help today. SoberMomsHealthyBabies.org also has resources for healthcare providers, friends, and family. If you want to help someone who's pregnant and using, visit SoberMomsHealthyBabies.org or call 211 today. Sponsored by the Nevada Division of Public and Behavioral Health and in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
101.5 FM KDAWN.
You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
All right, let's keep this party rolling. Sunday morning. God, it kind of reminds me of the old TBS shows, man. Get up at 8:05. Have a great old time watching pro wrestling. Well, we're bringing it back a little bit here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. And by the way, we're out there streaming on YouTube and Facebook, and thank you for checking us out there. Had a comment in the chat. The Ripple Man, Gary Johnson, says, "What's Mark Hoke's energy secret? Share it with the whole wrestling world." Just hang in there for 2 hours, brother. That's all it is. Oh, I was down here about 5:30 this morning getting ready for the show. I think I woke up at 4. I tried to go back to sleep for a little bit, failed. But yeah, just had a great time with Brian Kilmeade and everybody down there and all the fans that were coming to see him. And that's all you can do, man. Just got to keep it rolling and rolling and rolling. I don't know what it is, but I just have fun doing the show. That's the great part. Just knowing that there's a lot of people out there listening and having, getting a lot of enjoyment out of it. I appreciate it. So you all keep me going, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Let's get to Wednesday, shall we? So, an interesting episode of Dynamite. Boy, they are having audio issues. The funny part was, I didn't have to put up with it because I was watching Dynamite here at the station while I was doing my thing. Had the TV on, but I have to keep the audio down because obviously I'm paying attention to what's going on. I see they're kind of setting something up that Jack Perry, the now known as the Scapegoat, he's no longer the Jungle Boy. Of course, Perry had been suspended by Tony Khan for what happened with him and CM Punk at All In. He'd been doing a lot of stuff over in New Japan, but he hadn't been seen on AEW TV for a long time, 7 months. Jack shows up and asks for a meeting with Tony Khan and said, "Hey, let's go have a chat, shall we?" After Perry, of course, had helped the Young Bucks, who are executive vice presidents of AEW, win the AEW World Tag Team Championships at Dynasty, And they had just shown that footage the week before on Dynamite of what had transpired at All In with him and CM Punk. Kind of validating the scapegoat nickname, because Jack Perry, of course, didn't feel like he really did anything wrong. He made his, real glass comment during the pay-per-view, which got Punk all hot and bothered. So they go out to the ring, and Jack asks to be reinstated. Tony's got a big smile on his face, shakes his hand. They do a hug, and Jack Perry looks back at the camera and gets this sly grin on his face. And Jack Perry, you can tell, may have an evil intention in his eyes. And as the embrace ends and they raise their hands together in glorious victory, the two united again. One of the pillars of AEW is back in the good graces with Tony Khan. He strikes him in the stomach with a microphone, and Tony doubles over. The Young Bucks, the executive vice presidents, come running out, and they're in Jacksonville, Daly's place, the home, the place where it all had been rolling for so long, where it all began. The Bucks come out along with Okada, the new elite, begin to help Tony to his feet, showing concern for the fallen CEO of AEW. And you see them each holding an arm in the pose of where there could be an EVP trigger coming. The fans start to get rowdy, but they didn't do it. They help him up. They're kind of brushing Tony off, and you think, okay. And they're kind of talking to Jack like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why'd you do that to him? And then they grab Tony, flip him upside down. One of the Bucks jumps to the top rope in the corner. They're holding Tony upside down. Okada does the whole Scott Hall point at him with the two hands and gives him a Tony Khan driver and lays him out. Oh, boy. Tony is lying in the middle of the ring. A bunch of the guys from the locker room and the medical team come out to check on Tony Khan. And the Young Bucks and the Elite and Jack Perry stand victorious in the ring before they walk out to wrap up the episode of Dynamite. But Tony Khan is attacked, and even his concerned father, Shad Khan, the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the patriarch of all the family businesses, comes out and gives a look to everybody. Why did this happen to my son? Oh, boy. So we have Tony Khan's first bump. Congratulations, Tony. Virgin no more. We're proud of you, big guy. And Tony's a great guy. Now, I've interviewed Tony, and he's just the nicest guy in the world. Gets a little hyped up sometimes, but good for him. So Tony takes the Tony Khan driver, formerly known as the Meltzer driver. And here's the best part about this. The NFL draft starts the next day. And Tony is in, of course, is part of the Jaguars. He shows up in the war room. The cameras are on, and there's Tony with a neck brace. He's selling the attack. I didn't get to see Saturday, but Thursday and Friday, he's wearing a neck brace to the NFL draft. How awesome is that? Kayfabe is still alive. That's the term where you carry over what happened in a wrestling ring to real life. So Tony Khan selling this thing hard. And of course, he was bouncing back and forth between the NFL draft and Detroit and everything that else the guys have going on because they were in Jacksonville for a little bit. That's crazy. Good for him. But now, what do you do from here? So Tony apparently has been told he's not supposed to travel. So Tony's going to be in a remote location. But Tony Khan has been attacked by the Bucks, Jack Perry, and Okada. So we have a new war going on in AEW. What I think is a little bit lost on this, because on the surface, the bad guys attacked Tony Khan. But there are a lot of anti-Tony Khan guys out there. You see it all over the place. And those people are like, oh, we don't like the way Tony Khan runs AEW. There are a lot of people that think that Tony Khan did not handle the brawl-out situation between the Bucks, Omega, and CM Punk. And this situation with Jack Perry and CM Punk very well at all. To me, there was blame to go around for everybody, both situations. Of course, Tony even said the situation with Jack Perry and CM Punk when the monitors getting down and everything else, that he felt he was in fear for his life because of CM Punk going crazy. Now, it didn't look, the footage kind of stopped after the monitors got knocked down, and Punk, Joe stepped in and pulled everybody away. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to say what happened post Punk shove. But are the fans going to really be on Tony's side on this thing? I don't know. Because Jack Perry's got a lot of fans out there. They like what he's doing with this scapegoat thing. Kenny Omega's coming back next week. He's the other executive vice president. And a lot of people weren't sure that Kenny was even ready to come back. But if Tony's not going to be there, we may have a new general manager type role. Of course, Kenny's recovering from that really bad diverticulitis case. Where does Kenny fall on this? Because he got caught in the middle of one of these things too. This has potential to be that overarching storyline that AEW has needed for a while. Of course, we had what happened with Adam Cole and MJF that unfortunately just got obliterated because of the ankle injury to Cole and the shoulder and hip injuries to MJF. They're both still going to be out for a long time. We're going to talk about that later on in the show. But how fascinating is this going to be of who's on whose side? When we had the big the Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon, that was pretty clear cut. Vince is the evil boss. Tony's not an evil boss. But some people may not like how Tony handled things. I'm curious to see where this goes. I really am. But overall, the people that said don't air that footage, I'm one of them. Yeah, good move. Because it may lead to one of the biggest storylines in AEW's 5-year history. So, points for Tony. As long as they play this right, this is going to be a lot of fun. So, and of course, Tony got a lot of national attention. Now, didn't need to make the comment about WWE being Harvey Weinstein. Probably could have left that one out. But, once again, playing challenger brand, that's, I guess, what you do. But you didn't. I don't think it was necessary. But congratulations, Tony. I think you may have hit some gold on this one. It's going to be wild. And with that, we're going to head into hour number 2 here in just a little bit. Wrap hour 1 up. Matt Black from WrestleZone.com is going to be joining us, senior editor over there. And we're going to get his reaction to all this. And I haven't got to talk to Matt This is WrestleMania too. So we're going to get his thoughts about all that's been going on in the world of pro wrestling and what is, we got to come up with a nickname for this April because it has been one of the historically most incredible months in pro wrestling history. No doubt about it. But we're going to talk to Matt and go through all the news that's going on in the industry here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, The Talk Las Vegas. Hey, do me a favor, subscribe to us on YouTube. That really helps me a lot. And our show at The Mark Hoke Show, Facebook, The Mark Hoke Show, Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, X is markhokeshow.com. You got the idea. Just search The Mark Hoke Show and just find us wherever we are. Thanks for listening. Stick around, everybody. Hour number 2 is coming up, and hit us on that live stream. We'll talk in a little bit. Hour 2 coming up. Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join the Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. Earth Day has passed, but you don't need a holiday to make an impact. Check your car's trunk and remove heavy items to improve gas mileage. Stock up on reusable bags to use at the grocery store, always keeping a few in your car. And be sure that you are recycling bottles, cans, and papers. The simplest things are often the most effective. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Honey, is our car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My sister just got an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover our repair bills if anything happens to our car, new brakes, a transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait a minute, we pay nothing on the repairs? Ox gets it fixed for us? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance? What's the number?
800-230-8357. Ox has a 30-day money-back guarantee and an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike other warranty companies. We should call now, 800-230-8357.
The last thing we need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-230-8357. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care, 800-230-8357 or oxcarcare.com.
Hey, Nevadans, prescriptions can be expensive. Let the Array RX discount card be your solution. Now available to all Nevada residents. Simply sign up for free. Show your pharmacist your digital card and save money. Receive discounts of up to 80% on certain medications. There are no age or income restrictions, and it only takes a minute to enroll, so you can get back to doing what makes you happy.
This message funded by a grant through the Nevada Department of Health and Human Services, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
Understanding the many things in a mother's life affecting her pregnancy is important. You can help improve the health of all mothers and babies in Nevada by completing a pregnancy risk assessment monitoring system survey about your recent pregnancy. Also known as PRAMS, the survey is from the Nevada Division of Public and Behavioral Health and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The survey asks new moms about their experience before, during, and after pregnancy. Responses are confidential and used to help improve the health of mothers and babies in Nevada. If you receive a PRAMS survey, please share your story. Learn more at nvprams.dpbh.nv.gov. That's nvprams.dpbh.nv.gov. This message sponsored by the Nevada Division of Public and Behavioral Health, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
KMXB HD3 Henderson, K268CS Las Vegas. Always live on the free Odyssey app. 101.5 FM KDAWN.
Oklahoma officials confirm 2 people are dead after massive weekend tornadoes. I'm Ann Carrick, Fox News. In Nebraska, tornadoes flattened entire neighborhoods.
We got one more active day today with storms, 126 tornado warnings over the last 3 days. This is since Thursday. You can get the idea exactly where it is, all the Central Plains. And we have another day of this storms. It's moving really slowly right now. But in the short term, we're just talking about a lot of rain that's been falling across eastern parts of Oklahoma and throughout Texas. In fact, we have a big flooding situation going on across the eastern suburbs of the Dallas area this morning. So you want to watch very carefully if you got to get on the roads.
Chief Meteorologist Rick Reichmuth, one of the dead is a child. Hamas is reviewing a new ceasefire proposal from Israel. Fox's Chainley Painter has details.
Details of the offer have not yet been released. Recent proposals, though, have included a 6-week pause in fighting in exchange for the release of some Hamas-held hostages. The move comes as Egypt is intensifying efforts to broker a deal to end the months-long war in Gaza and prevent a planned Israel ground offensive in Rafah.
More than 100 Israeli hostages from the October 7th massacre remain in Hamas custody in Gaza. Green Party 2024 presidential candidate Jill Stein is among 100 people arrested Saturday at an anti-Israel protest at Washington University in St. Louis. Her campaign manager tells Fox News Digital the campaign supports the demands of the students and their peaceful protest and assembly on campus. Stein spent 6 hours in police custody. Former movie mogul Harvey Weinstein is in the hospital after his 2020 rape conviction in New York was vacated, according to his lawyer, who says a retrial should happen after Labor Day. A state appeals court ruled jurors received too much evidence not directly related to the state's charges against Weinstein. America is listening to Fox News.
Stay on top of the latest forecast with America's Weather Team in the palm of your hands.
Here's the latest from America's Weather Center.
It's Fox weather updates throughout your busy day, every day.
That heat's going to be out there for one more day.
Temperatures being 30 degrees above average.
Put the power of over 100 meteorologists and the worldwide resources of Fox in your hands with the Fox Weather Podcast. Precise, personal, powerful. Subscribe and listen now at foxnewspodcasts.com. Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
And let's get it rolling. Hour number 2 of the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM. It is the talk of Las Vegas. And we're talking pro wrestling. Holy cow. What a week. What a week. we didn't even come close to getting through all of the news from hour number 1. And so I needed help. Because, well, I need help anyway. That's just how it goes. But of course, we are on the Odyssey app and on KDAWN. We're also streaming on YouTube and Facebook. So if you want to get your 2 cents in, we'd love to hear from you, making comments, get in that chat box on YouTube or Facebook. But I got to bring this guy in. Great friend. Love this man to death. He's pretty amazing. Matt Black from WrestleZone, one of the senior editors over there, and it brings it every week. Every time he's on the show, it is just pure heat and happiness.
That's one way to put it.
It's just nothing but sunshine and rainbows when Matt's on the show.
Hot damn.
Welcome. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, man. It's been a crazy week in pro wrestling. I feel like 2024 has. We're only in April, and I feel like it's already trumped everything out of 2023. When people were last year saying nothing's going to top 2023. Well, we're only 4 months into 2024, and they're just like, bye bye. We've already surpassed last year's, and we've got 8 more months to go.
Can you remember a month like this? I mean, this has been unreal.
It's crazy. I feel like the last 3 years in pro wrestling have played a game of can you top this? And every year seems so crazy and so full of news, and you're like, this is the peak. It's gonna get next year is not gonna be able to top what we've done, and the next year just it keeps topping it. We are definitely in the hottest period of pro wrestling since the Monday Night Wars, and I'm thrilled to be a part of that.
Yeah, it's good for all of us.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
To say the least. And so, well, I was talking about Tony Khan and what happened on AEW Dynamite and kind of the follow up through all that. So why don't we hit that first, and we'll keep that going. So your thoughts on this whole thing, because, and I think first when Tony aired that security footage with Jack Perry and CM Punk, I don't know too many people that were in the industry that said this was a good idea. I think we all thought it was just Tony being a little bit personal and spiteful. Boy, did we eat our words, because this has a chance to really be a seminal point in AEW.
As the Joker said in The Dark Knight, it was all a part of the plan.
Yes, it was.
And that's what this was. This video was played because AEW plans things out months in advance. And the only thing that really deters AEW's plans are injuries. So they're planning these major storylines out weeks, months ahead of time. So they knew when they were airing this footage, they knew what this was going to lead into. And this footage single-handedly got everybody talking about Jack Perry again. Because yeah, he was in New Japan, he was doing stuff with House of Torture and stuff, but no one was really talking about it. Like no one really cared. It's like, yeah, Jack Perry's over in New Japan, whatever. When this footage came out, everything flipped. And then 2 days later, Jack Perry was in Chicago for a New Japan show where you'd think he'd be booed out of the building. And he ended up getting a very polarizing reaction. It felt like half the crowd was loving everything he did and half the crowd was hating him. It was a reaction I don't think anybody expected. And this has just basically turned into a vehicle to bring Jack Perry back as one of the top stars in the company. And I'm just going to throw this out here right now. Double or Nothing in Las Vegas, I believe Jack Perry will be challenging Swerve Strickland for the AEW World Championship.
Wow, really?
I do. I think the Bucks are gonna pull some power ranking BS with Tony having to run Dynamite remotely because he can't travel, and I think they're gonna manipulate the rankings, and I think Perry's gonna get that shot against Swerve at Double or Nothing, because I don't think it was an accident that Swerve called out the Elite last night on Collision.
True.
And told them what they did to Tony Khan on Dynamite was a bitch move. I think all the pieces are being put in place for Perry to have a huge match next month in Las Vegas.
Boy, that would be interesting. Matt, you ought to come out, by the way.
Yeah, probably not.
Oh, you should. See, you're getting psyched about Double or Nothing here in Las Vegas.
Dude, I was psyched about Dynasty, and I didn't go to that either. I think I'm going to the Forbidden Door in New York in June.
Oh.
So, like that, I try to limit the traveling's expensive, man. It's very, very expensive. I wish I could go to every single show. It's just not financially feasible. I think I'm going to Forbidden Door in June.
Matt, I'll get you. I'll get you a friend's place to stay at. Hop on Frontier. You get a cheap flight. You may have to put up with an uncomfortable seat, but I'll get you taken care of if you come out. Okay.
We'll see. We'll see what we can do.
I'll take care of you. I promise. I promise. But in terms of this feud, and I was discussing this too. You know, normally you would look at this and say, well, you know, everybody's we should be on Tony Khan's side, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think you talked about the reception that Jack Perry got for the New Japan show. I have a feeling this is going to end up being kind of a split group because I think there's a lot of people that are going to be sympathetic to Jack Perry. And I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be sympathetic to the Bucks because they were saying, we never got to really put our side out of the whole thing that happened, with the Brawl In situation. So, this is going to be very intriguing. And, maybe Tony's going to have to walk a little bit of a line here too, because, he was the boss and they didn't like how they handled it.
Well, one of the greatest things I mentioned the Monday Night War era earlier. One of the greatest things about that era was the NWO. And not everybody loved the NWO, and not everybody hated the NWO. There was a very mixed audience response on how people felt about that faction. And if they played their cards right in AEW, the Elite could technically feel like a modern day NWO. Half the crowd hates everything they're doing, half the crowd loves everything they're doing, and it makes for a very dynamic response in the arena, and especially people talking about it online, because you know how people love to talk about things online. So I'm very excited for where things are going to be going in the coming months. I think this was a home run angle to close Dynamite. I think Tony got extreme publicity for AEW in the last 72 hours, appearing on various NFL platforms wearing the neck brace, selling the attack. And I think this is just a gigantic win for AEW all around. I think I think that company needs to be very proud of themselves right now for what they've managed to pull off. It's a good time to be a wrestling fan.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think I saw your tweet was talking about the neck brace, and then I was actually producing Sports X Radio, and we were watching the draft, and when they showed the scene in the Jacksonville war room,
Yeah.
I was actually on the mic and I just went crazy.
I
I'm
have never seen
screaming
so many people on my timeline talking about the NFL draft. I normally have a handful of people. It's normally, I normally see a lot of NFL chatter, but the volume of people I saw talking about that, I've never seen that on my timeline before. So big win. They had wrestling fans tuning in that probably never tuned into an NFL draft before, just to see if Tony was going to keep kayfabe alive and wear that neck brace on the draft. And he did. And it was fantastic.
Yep.
I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, great throwback. Absolutely had to love that. That was just an awesome moment. We also, had some, of course, AEW Dynasty, and some title changes there. But of course, the big one is Swerve Strickland.
Yeah.
And I got to interview Swerve. God, that was about 6 months ago, and just talking about how he had changed his persona. Became the more of the horror movie kind of guy, and studying his opponents, and just changing his philosophy from when he got out of NXT. And couldn't be happier for the man. I really couldn't. This is a guy who puts so much time into what he does, not just in the ring, but outside of it. And to see him win this world championship, I think meant a lot to the fans for what he did. But, the reaction to that, but now where does it go? I mean, you're talking about him taking on Jack Perry. Jeez, does he get a short reign? I mean,
No.
This is going to be very intriguing.
So, Swerve's gonna win. He's not gonna be excuse me. He's not gonna be a transitional champion. Not.
Hang in there, Matt.
Yeah.
I got you for a sec. You're
Sorry.
all right.
Yeah, give me a second.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, Matt Black from WrestleZone. Grabbing the Gatorade. Getting a little lubed up. It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not going to be a transitional champion. I don't foresee that. A lot of people predict it will be him. It will Ospreay at All In for the AEW World Championship. But if Ospreay wins the International Championship next month at Double or Nothing against Roderick Strong, that's probably out the window. So if that happens, I'm honestly not sure what's next for Swerve after Perry. But, I mean, no, I do know what's next for Swerve after Perry. It's going to be a returning Hangman. You got to
Okay.
go back to the Heyman Swerve rivalry, and Heyman's off TV right now because as far as I've read online, I think he had his second child.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
congratulations
Yeah.
to Heyman, out there, getting the time off, but definitely deserved. Love to see that. But when he returns, he's going to be furious that the one objective he had was to keep Swerve away from the championship, and he won it when he was out suspended by the Elite. So yeah, I think after Perry, I think Heyman's the next logical step, and that maybe they do Heyman and Swerve it all in, because the pay-per-view between Double or Nothing and All In is Forbidden Door. So I'm imagining Swerve's going to face somebody from New Japan. But I'm not sure who that would be at the time being.
Yeah, that's part of the fun of AEW
Yeah.
is there's so many directions they could go right now. And I think partially too, they may have been hoping that MJF or Adam Cole was going to get back. But boy, I'll tell you, that's some bad stories there. I don't know if you saw the reports that just came out, but MJF is nowhere near a return. He's going to be having surgery on that shoulder. He's going to be gone for a long time.
I'm not 100% sure I buy that report.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't. I don't. I think Cole's going to be back sooner rather than later. I don't know about MJF, but I'm not 100% sure that report is accurate. So,
okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I'm not trying to call anybody out, but I'm not 100% certain that report's accurate.
Yeah, well, I guess we will find out on that. But yeah, and that was a shame too, because it really did throw AEW into a weird spot with both those guys going down at the conclusion of that storyline. Just wow. I mean, Cole, but we'll see if Adam Cole can at least get back here.
Yeah, as I said earlier, the main thing that can always derail AEW's programming is injuries, because they plan so far out in advance for what they want to do. And when Cole went down at Grand Slam, and MJF was clearly needed time off after World's End, to lose those two keys of that storyline going into 2024 was a disastrous blow for AEW's creative. But there's nothing you can do about injuries.
Yeah.
I mean, as stacked as AEW's roster is right now, you have to think of everybody that's still out. Cole, MJF, Kenny Omega. They have so many big names. Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter. AEW has never had a television programming stretch where they've had their roster at full strength. And
Yeah.
I think when they finally manage to get that and everything's firing on all cylinders, my God, it's gonna be a special stretch of programming for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Of course, we're on the Mark Hoke Show here with special guest from WrestleZone.com, Matt Black, joining us, and we got his throat squared up. We're all good.
Sorry about that. I told you yesterday I was feeling a little under the weather, so
it happens. It happens to all of us, man. Yeah, I got to throw my throat out for a sec. I was yelling on Brian Kilmeade's stage. It's crazy. 1,000 people out there looking at me like I'm nuts. It was something else. Yeah, and by the way, there were some other injuries too. Darby Allin saying he got run over by a bus in New York City. Did you see
the picture?
Yeah.
That man can't catch a break.
Unbelievable.
Like, seriously, I thought the universe threw him a bone by breaking his foot so he didn't have to climb Mount Everest. But then that broken foot cost him to get hit by a bus in New York City. What is going on?
It's like an Alanis Morissette song. I mean, it's sad. When I interviewed Darby, he was so excited about climbing Mount Everest. He breaks his foot in a mat, last match before he's going on the break. And then he's trying to cross the street and gets hit by a bus because he can't move. Unbelievable. Yeah, so Darby's hurt. Powerhouse Hobbs hurts his knee. We don't know what's up with him.
Yeah, we don't know the extent of that right now. I'm hoping it's not serious. But they definitely went to that finish quickly.
They did.
So, and that's very unfortunate. He's one of their top rising names, and it seems like they're already looking to maybe not replace him, but Don Callis watching that parking lot brawl last night on Rampage and looking like he's eyeing up Trent Beretta is the newest member of the Don Callis family. Looks like they're already, looking to filter in new people into that group. Because let's face it, it's only a matter of time until Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher are out of there.
Right.
I think they're waiting on Mark Davis to come back, because when Mark Davis comes back, they can literally just do the United Empire in AEW. And I think they're going to, but there's no reason to do that until the other half of Aussie Open is back.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, God, it's just so many puzzle pieces over there.
yes.
Yeah. Well, and who else? Let's see who else. Dominic Mysterio. He's whatever's going on with him, and there's different reports.
He said
about
he's
his
not going
elbow.
to have surgery. Dave Meltzer on Friday on the Wrestling Observer newsletter said he was going to have Tommy John surgery on his elbow, and Dominic came out on social media less than like an hour later from that report come out and said no surgery for me. So I guess he's just going to rehab it and try to get through it. So hopefully that works out. Sometimes rehabbing works great, and sometimes rehabbing fails, and then you end up having to go into surgery. So fingers crossed for Dominic. Never a good time to get hurt, especially when Judgment Day needs all hands on deck right now without Rhea Ripley being there right now. It's really hard to continue the story of what they're trying to do right now when all of their stablemates are dropping like flies.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unbelievable. But yeah, so kind of a massive injury list for WWE and AEW. And yeah. So, well, I'll tell you what, that's a pretty good spot to take a break, because when we come back with Matt Black, we will discuss the new WWE Women's Champion. Of course, Rhea Ripley going down, and Becky Lynch has claimed that title. Good, bad, or indifferent? We'll see what Matt thinks about that one. So stick around, everybody. We've got a whole lot more here on the Mark Hoke Show, the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. We will be right back with a whole lot more with Matt Black from WrestleZone. Make sure you follow him at WrestleZone.com, all his great work. We'll be right back.
Selling your house is always stressful, especially in this economy.
You need a real estate agent you can trust to make the process as stress-free as possible.
And one that can get you the most money for your home.
Talk to the Brinkus team of Keller Williams Realty, The Marketplace.
They've sold over 9,000 homes in the Las Vegas area
and have helped thousands of families reach their real estate goals.
The Brinkus team's marketing is so thorough that when they list homes, they sell for top dollar.
They'll customize their strategy just for your specific needs,
including selling and buying a home simultaneously.
Yeah, I just went through that process a few years ago. It is not fun. You need somebody who knows what they're doing. And they do the heavy lifting so you can rest easy.
Real estate mogul and Shark Tank star Barbara Corcoran only works with the best agents in the whole country.
And guess who's the only team she trusts in all of Southern Nevada? That's right, the Brinkus team.
So just Google thebrinkusteam.com today and check out their hundreds of 5-star reviews.
That's thebrinkusteam.com.
And start packing.
In Nevada, anything that goes into the storm drain goes directly to our local waterways, which can pollute Nevada's lakes and rivers. Nevada is the driest state in the nation, and we must work together to preserve our limited water resources for future generations of Nevadans. Here's some waterway wisdom so you can help do your part this spring. Clean up vehicle leaks and spills. Scoop your dog's poop, bag it, and discard it. Apply fertilizers and pesticides sparingly. Avoid sprinkler runoff. Don't litter. Secure trash in bins. Keep contaminants out of our storm drains. Use waterway wisdom. And remember, only rain should go into the storm drain. Join us in preserving Nevada's waters for future generations by visiting lovenvwaters.com and following us on social media. This message sponsored by the Nevada Department of Transportation, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
Ready for your next vacation? Not so fast. Before you hit the road, remember these healthy habits to keep yourself and others safe and sanitary. Wash your hands after using the restroom, before eating and after blowing your nose. Sanitize airplane seats and tray tables. Sneeze or cough into a tissue or your elbow. And avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth with unwashed hands. Lastly, make sure you're up to date on all your routine vaccines, including the COVID-19 vaccine. It's also important to get tested when necessary, such as if you develop COVID-19 symptoms before, during, or after travel. If you will be traveling to visit someone who is at a higher risk of getting very sick from COVID-19, or if you're in a situation with a greater risk of exposure during travel. Pack these tips on your next adventure. And remember, travel safely, Nevadans. This message is sponsored by a CDC grant through the Nevada Department of Health and Human Services, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
1015 FM KDAWN.
This is the Mark Hoke Show.
The Mark Hoke Show.
Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
And let's get back to it, shall we? The best in pro wrestling news and entertainment here on KDAWN on 1015 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. Of course, also out there on that Odyssey app. Download that thing right now. Amazing app. All sorts of terrific programming on KDAWN and elsewhere. So you should get that app right now. Don't waste time. Don't be silly. Just get the app. And you can listen to my show and many others wherever you are. Of course, we're also streaming on YouTube and Facebook. And I have one of my best pals right here. Best friends. Hopefully he'll never attack me and bounce my head off a van. Matt Black from WrestleZone.com joining us here on the show. And of course, it was a terrible time for my screen to kick onto the screensaver. You can follow him on Twitter at RawFShowtime. There we go. That's what I was trying to say before we went to break. Happy to have you, Matt.
It's good to be here, man.
All right. So, Matt, new women's champ, Becky Lynch, of course, had to step in for Rhea Ripley, who had that crazy freak injury, bounces off a locker and wrecks her AC joint. Right call, yes or no?
Absolutely the right call. 100%. When your top star on Raw goes down, you go to your faithful person that you can go to at any point when things go to shit. WWE has two of those, and it's Becky Lynch and it's Charlotte Flair. And Charlotte's on the shelf right now too. So you don't have a whole lot of choices. You had to go to with Becky Lynch. And it's a battle royal. And I know I saw Liv Morgan's fan base losing their minds on social media after Raw Monday night. Do y'all really want her moment of being crowned the new champion by winning a battle royal?
No.
Really?
No.
Like, to me, her moment of winning that title is going to mean a lot more when she beats Becky Lynch one-on-one and wins that championship. Because believe you me, by the time Rhea Ripley's ready to come back, Liv Morgan's going to be holding that title. And then that's going to be off to the races. But you don't need to do that right now. You don't need to do that immediately. You put the title on Becky because Becky's an anchor. Becky's going to be able to carry that division. And when you beat Becky, you've done something. Winning a battle royal for a championship, that's perfect for somebody who's done it all before. You know, the Charlottes, the Beckys, the Baileys. If somebody like that wins a battle royal, it's to be expected. Of course, they're one of the top people in the company. Of course, they're going to win a battle royal. But if you want somebody who hasn't really had much championship experience, Liv had that, that cup of coffee with Ronda Rousey a couple of years ago, but that was short and uneventful. If you really want her championship win to mean something, do it in a one-on-one match with Lynch on a pay-per-view. Like, I don't understand the people that felt it had to be done in that battle royal on Monday. I think Becky was 100% the right call.
Yeah, and if you think about it, if they were doing this planned push with Liv, you don't want to just stick it out there and then all of a sudden, Rhea comes back and you're going to be in a situation where, Rhea's going to just crush her again. I mean, that wouldn't be the way to do it. You want to give Liv that big win over Rhea to set this up. So I don't think it was a bad decision at all. And, plus Liv's got to learn to not stand on the apron when she's in a battle royal for a championship.
Lots of wrestlers make that mistake, unfortunately.
Yeah, just Stand in the middle.
Get in the rain.
Yeah, just drop, roll under, boom.
Yes,
You're good.
exactly. If you're on the apron, do everything in your power to get back in the rain. Don't worry about your opponent. Worry about getting back in the in that squared circle, man.
Yeah, come on, Liv. What are you doing?
Rookie
Jeez,
move.
Yeah, she's not a rookie. She should know better. Gosh darn it. A little reaction to what's going on with Nick Nemeth now, and we have seen, just Nick obviously doesn't win the Impact title here or the TNA title here in Las Vegas, but just hops on down to Mexico and wins the
AAA Mega Championship.
And now he's got a title in Japan. He's got a title in Mexico. And obviously he'll be back challenging for the TNA title at some point. But what an intriguing story with him since he left WWE. And I'm curious to get your reaction to what's going on with him. Just, I got to meet him and just, great guy. But it's fascinating where his career is going right now. He's been out doing all this crazy stuff on the indies too. And I know he won another title out on the indies. Fascinating the last few months for that man.
Yeah, and hot take. I think TNA made a major mistake by not crowning him at Rebellion, because he would have been in the Kenny Omega position, holding 3 major championships at the same time. I think TNA lost out on that. I think TNA could have had a lot of publicity by having their world champion, who's also the world champion of AAA, who's also the global champion of New Japan. I would have put the title on Nick at Rebellion. I think they made a mistake. I think they did it for the cheap pop of Matt Hardy coming back and delayed that. I don't think it was needed. I think Matt Hardy can do whatever he wants there for however long or however short he's there for. He didn't need to be immediately inserted into the world title picture. And I think TNA made a massive mistake, especially if they knew ahead of time that Nick was going to win this AAA Mega Championship this weekend. I think they kind of blew it.
I got to admit, I was a little surprised about it too. And, they did such a great job going around Las Vegas and hyping this thing up. And, I guess to a point, I see the loyalty in it and keeping Moose on top. And, I like Matt Hardy, but, it's kind of, Matt shows up and he's holding the TNA world title. And I was kind of like, okay, that's interesting. But at the same time, I'd rather see Nick just win it. But, you also kind of elevate Moose too. I get both sides of it, but boy, I think you get more mileage out of Nick being the champion. I don't know. I was really torn on it. I really was.
I think when TNA is in an era where they need to attract as many new viewers as they possibly can to continue their trek to be a viable number 3 in the United States, I don't think Moose is that guy. Like, I like Moose. I like what he does in the ring. But I don't think Moose is bringing any new fans into the TNA product. I think the system as a faction is extremely boring. And I don't think that's the group that I'd be, centering my television product around when I'm trying to attract new fans right now. I think top class is 100%, or first class, my bad. First class is 100% more entertaining than anything the system's doing right now. Yeah, I don't know why they're so gun-ho behind this group, but I think it's kind of almost a detriment to their programming right now.
Yeah, very interesting thought. Yeah, I think it did catch a lot of people off guard when we were all there, that everybody was really expecting Nick to win. So
yeah,
if
I would have put a bet down, I definitely would have put money down on Nemeth winning that match last weekend.
Well, maybe it's just the slow burn, and we're doing a little mini Cody Rhodes here too. So I don't know, but congratulations to Nick for another big win. And maybe it was, hey, look, Nick just won this other title too, and it gives Moose a little more credibility. I don't know, but I just saw that happen and thought it was pretty intriguing. Backlash is coming up.
Yes, next weekend.
And
this weekend now, yeah.
Yeah. And everybody forgot about it. I mean, this card.
They haven't announced a whole lot for it.
No.
To be fair, like how many matches do we?
We got 5.
I do this for a living, and I am hard pressed to remember anything beyond the women's triple threat with Bayley, Tiffany, and Naomi, and
That's
Cody
one.
Rhodes against AJ Styles.
There's 2.
You said there's 5?
There's 5.
You gotta help me, man, because I can't remember the other matches. I seriously, I'm not even playing a joke. Like, they have not built this show well enough. I don't remember what the other matches on this show are.
So here's your 5 matches. It's Cody and AJ Styles for the Undisputed Championship. Damian Priest and Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight title.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep.
We got Bayley against Naomi and Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship. The Kabuki Warriors taking on Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill for the women's tag titles.
That
And
was kind of quickly brushed over on Friday.
It was. And Randy Orton and Kevin Owens against the Bloodline.
Yes.
Just
that one I should have remembered. They've done a good job telling that story, and I loved seeing Orton injected into that on Friday night. I very much enjoyed that. I should have seen that coming. Do you think we get Jacob Fatu on Saturday to help them beat RKO?
RKO. I like that. I hope so. That would be fun.
That's what I would do. I would bring in Jacob Fatu and have him be the determining factor of why Tama and Solo win. That's how I would book it.
Yeah, that would be terrific. And honestly, I am so excited for Jacob to get in here. If people haven't seen Jacob, and obviously he was the MLW champion for a really long time. I got to see him live here taking on let's see, that was actually against Cross that I got to watch him. It was right after Cross had gotten released from WWE. And I got to see those two go at it, and actually saw Scarlett give him a code red here in Las Vegas. Oh, it was an unbelievable moment. Unbelievable. But Jacob is so good.
I don't think people are prepared.
No.
People who are not experienced and have seen a lot of his work, I don't think people are prepared for what that man is capable of inside the ring. Because you see a man of his size, he shouldn't be able to move like he moves. He shouldn't be able to do what he does. And I make this comparison a lot, and I know it's kind of hard to do since he's so much larger than Jacob, but he reminds me of like a modern day Yokozuna. Because you looked at Yokozuna and then you saw him move, and you're like, no way someone of his size should be able to move like he does in the ring and do the things that he does. Jacob is kind of like that modern day version. It's funny enough, they're all in the same bloodline. But yeah, people are going to lose their minds when they see Jacob Fatu pull out like those springboard planches and stuff for the first time.
Yeah.
Because someone his size, it shouldn't happen. He's a special talent. WWE is very lucky to have him. And I think he's really going to solidify this new look bloodline as the legitimate scary faction that people are going to have to deal with in the months ahead.
Yeah, it's going to be very intriguing. By the way, I want to say hi to everybody in the chat box. Gamer Bear is in there saying Matt's back, baby. So say hi to Gamer Bear. Mark Cho's in there. Bionic Scoop. By the way, Matt, if you guys are ever looking for a photographer, Bionic Scoop is your man. I'll get you the hookup on that because he is one of the best in the business. Period. End of story.
Nice.
So, yeah. So you guys should exchange info. But and Jacob also goes in a category to me like a Brian Cage or a Hammerstone that those two guys don't get the credit for. They're just very muscular, very strong, but they don't get the credit for the agility that they have.
Yeah.
I've watched Cage and Hammerstone go at it pretty close up too, and some of the things that they can just fly around the ring, and a lot of times except when they get to wrestle each other, you don't get to see them do anything but a lot of the power stuff. But those three are all kind of cut from the same cloth, that they can do the incredible agility maneuvers. They just don't get to do it that much. So it is going to be fun. I cannot wait for Jacob Fatu to get released in WWE.
Yeah, I'm really hoping for Backlash. Originally, he was scheduled for Friday SmackDown earlier in the week, and then for some reason they decided to pull him, and they're like, "Well, we're not in any rush to bring him to TV." And I'm like, "Well, why decide him to sit him at home? Bring the man in. Let's go.
Yeah,
let's get this bloodline going right now. The bloodline's just a tag team. Let's make it a real faction again." Because apparently, I as far as my understanding, Jimmy's write off of TV was because of an injury. So I don't know if Jimmy would have been kicked out of the bloodline like he was had he not been hurt. And I also wonder if that had anything to do with the match with Jay at WrestleMania that people were underwhelmed by. I wonder if that was because Jimmy went into that match hurt. I don't know that for a fact, but I do know that he was written off of TV because he's injured and he's going to be gone for a while.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and the new bloodline and Roman's not getting drafted anywhere. I'm just going to do my own thing. Good for him. Good for him.
Well, why draft Roman when he's never going to show up anyway? Why waste the draft pick? Why?
I wanted to ask you about that. I'm going to hold that because I got to hit break. I want to ask you a question about this because I remember. Well, the draft sucks. I hate the draft.
It does, and I have a way to fix it.
I hate the draft.
I have a way to fix it.
Okay, let's hold that too. That'll be two fun topics when we get back. So stick around, everybody. We've got a whole lot more with Matt Black from WrestleZone. Now I got Matt in the Bitter Zone too. So this will be fun. Stick around, everybody. We've got one more segment to go on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN, the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. We will be right back. A whole lot more with Matt Black. I'm Mark Hoke. We'll be one more time around. Stick around, everybody.
My son stopped talking to me. He didn't want to leave his room.
I didn't feel like talking to anyone. I just wanted to be alone.
I was really worried about my daughter. She was angry all the time.
I felt so depressed.
I was really worried about my daughter.
I couldn't do anything right. I was always getting yelled at.
My son told me he wanted to hurt himself. I was so scared.
I was feeling hopeless. It was all too much.
We needed help.
We needed help.
We needed help.
We needed help.
I needed help.
I called the mobile crisis response team, and we met with them that same day.
A crisis team came to my house and helped me talk to my parents about how I was feeling.
I called the mobile crisis response team. They met with us that day.
I talked to them about how I was feeling, and it really helped.
Sometimes understanding what children are experiencing can be difficult. The Nevada Children's Mobile Crisis Response Team provides mental health intervention and support. Learn more at nocrisis.com.
This message sponsored by the FBI Las Vegas Citizens Academy Alumni Association, a nonprofit organization separate and apart from the FBI in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association.
Hey, Nevadans, prescriptions can be expensive. Let the ArrayRx discount card be your solution. Now available to all Nevada residents. Simply sign up for free, show your pharmacist your digital card, and save money. Receive discounts of up to 80% on certain medications. There are no age or income restrictions, and it only takes a minute to enroll. Visit ArrayRxCard.com to learn more and sign up today.
This message funded by a grant through the Nevada Department of Health and Human Services, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
The FBI is engaged in a nationwide effort to build public awareness of hate crimes and encourage reporting to law enforcement. Hate crimes include crimes committed on the basis of the victim's perceived or actual race, color, religion, national origin, sexual orientation, gender identity, or disability. Hate crimes are not only an attack on the victim, they are meant to threaten and intimidate an entire community. If you believe you are a victim or a witness of a hate crime, we encourage you to report it to the FBI by calling 1-800-CALL-FBI or submit a tip at tips.fbi.gov. You may remain anonymous. Again, report suspected hate crimes by calling 1-800-CALL-FBI or submit a tip at tips.fbi.gov. The FBI works to protect all victims of crimes, regardless of their country of national origin or immigration status. The FBI encourages victims and witnesses of any hate-related incident to report report it to law enforcement. This message sponsored by the FBI Las Vegas Division, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
Are you shopping for healthcare coverage for a small business? Whether you're renewing a plan or shopping for a new one, the Vegas Chamber Health Plan, backed by Anthem, has many of the advantages usually reserved for a larger organization, like access to care across Nevada at lower cost. Lock in quality healthcare at budget-friendly prices through July 2024. Go to vegaschamber.com/anthem. Brought to you by the Vegas Chamber in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
You're pregnant, and no matter what you do, no matter what you try, you can't stop using alcohol, drugs, or tobacco. But no matter how lost you are, how far along you are, it's not too late. There's always hope, and there are many safe places that can help you stop using. In Nevada, pregnant women are given the highest priority for substance use treatment. Low-cost treatment options may be available so you and your baby can get healthy now. If you or someone you love is pregnant or thinking about getting pregnant and using alcohol, drugs, or tobacco, visit SoberMomsHealthyBabies.org or call 211 to find help today. SoberMomsHealthyBabies.org also has resources for healthcare providers, friends, and family. If you want to help someone who's pregnant and using, visit SoberMomsHealthyBabies.org or call 211 today. Sponsored by the Nevada Division of Public and Behavioral Health and in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
1015 FM KDAWN.
You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
Oh, let's fight. Let's fight. This will be fun.
Let's go.
Yeah. Pat Black joining Mark Hoke here on the Mark Hoke Show. Oh, I just talked to myself in the third person. I swear to God, I'd never do that. That's Ken Thompson from SportsX Radio rubbing off on me. He did it again last night too. But we're having a great time talking pro wrestling. That's what we do on this fantastic show. And we want to thank everybody for listening to us and everybody in the chat box join us and just having an awesome time. Let's see. Yeah, there's a comment about Jimmy Uso. He's going to guess Jimmy was injured on night 2 and speared off the stage.
That was a wild spot and a wild landing. You know what? He might be 100% correct there.
Yeah,
that was a crazy spot.
Yeah, it didn't look good.
No, it didn't. It looked like it hurt.
Well, the WWE draft. Let's get into that. I hate it.
Yes.
I think it sucks. I think it's a total waste of time. But they get ratings. That's the thing. It stinks about it. Everybody watches the damn thing.
Well, because everybody has draft fever. They've smartly associated it with the NFL draft now. So when people were thinking of the NFL draft, WWE's doing their draft too. Let me check it out. Type of deal. But yeah, new era, old era, don't matter what era. This version of the WWE draft sucks.
I can't stand it. It doesn't mean anything.
It's
because everybody just bounces back and forth.
Well, 5 people moved on Friday, and everybody else stayed where they were. Like a whole bunch of draft picks, like, oh yeah, you stay here, and you stay here, and you stay here. I'm like, what's the point?
There is none.
There's a way to fix it.
How do you fix it? Tell me.
There was back in the day, I can't remember what years this ran, but how they ran the draft was they did Raw versus SmackDown matches on both shows, and the winner of each show got a random draft pick on the board. It was almost like a slot machine.
Right.
So if you're only gonna, let's say they had 5 people move on SmackDown on Friday, you have 5 matches on the show, Raw versus SmackDown. If the Raw guy wins, then you have a slot machine featuring all the talents of NXT and SmackDown. And if a SmackDown guy wins, you have a slot machine filled with all the Raw talents in NXT. You have those matches. They're interesting because you don't see Raw versus SmackDown matches very often anymore. And then you move 5 people. So everything that happens on the show actually matters instead of just drafting a whole bunch of people back to the same show they were already on.
Yeah.
Make every single match have stakes. Make every move matter. And make the draft exciting again and give people a reason to want to tune in and not feel disappointed afterwards.
Yeah. It just, I don't know. I mean, they used to actually hold to it, and now they don't. So it's
Well,
I don't know.
look, let's see what Triple H does. We can't
All
say Triple
right.
H isn't going to hold to it yet.
All
So
right.
the draft, they said the drafts will lock in on May 6th. So once May 6th hits, let's see if Triple H holds firm on, who's been drafted, and let's see what happens. Let's give Triple H the benefit of the doubt before we automatically just assume he's going to do exactly what Vince did.
I think
And
you
if he
should draft.
does, then we can just be like, well, same boss, same as the old boss. So we'll find out soon enough.
They should draft you to Raw. You already got the Twitter handle.
I mean, I could help with the creative team.
There you go. Let's do it.
I would be more than willing to help either company's creative team. If AEW or WWE want to come calling and offer me a creative position, I would happily take it, and I would do everything in my power to help the overall programming be better from a week-to-week basis. I would love to be able to do that.
All right. Now here's the other fight. Now, you were not criticizing Roman Reigns for not wrestling much. All right. Now, I know, I think you had put out a tweet about how many times Roman defended the Universal Championship a while back. If I remember right.
Very few.
Very few. But I would debate you a little bit that it's a little bit of a different era now. That when you back in the 70s and so on, the model of the business was a lot different. That you had to go out and to make money in promotions. Those guys had to go out and wrestle 7, 8, 9 times in a week for them to make the money and promote what they were doing. You were on local TV. It wasn't like it is now where you had the internet and you could draw different streams of revenue and so on. Now it's more media driven. You're having to do more different things. And especially if you're that guy that's on top, your obligations are far different than what they are today. And, and those guys still do go out and do some of the house shows and stuff like that. So I understand why they don't defend as much as they do. Plus I think you do have to protect those guys a little bit more as well. You can't have them going and, getting injured at a worthless house show. No offense to everybody. So I get your point, but at the same time, I think the model's a lot different.
My main issue does not stem from the amount of title defenses. My main issue stems from how little they show up on television. Cody Rhodes is showing up everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
House shows, Raw, SmackDown, wherever Cody Rhodes is showing up. And Cody Rhodes is doing his thing. Even if he's not wrestling that night, Cody's there. If you're to me, Roman Reigns with that 3-year reign, if you're making the money that you're making, you can show up to work once a week on SmackDown and help continue the Bloodline story. And then go home for the rest of the week. I'm not asking you to go work the house shows. I'm not asking you to also be on Raw. But if you're gonna hold a world championship in WWE for 3 years, you got to show up to work once a week. And I'm not asking you to wrestle, but you got to be there. You got to be on TV. You got to help advance your storyline and move it forward. I think the part-time wrestler works perfectly well when they don't hold a championship. But when a title goes on them, that's when things need to change. You need to show up. You need to be there. You need to be there and present at work. I had that issue with Lesnar. I had that issue with Roman. And if Cody started no-showing SmackDowns in the coming weeks, I'd have that issue with Cody Rhodes as well.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I'm just curious with Roman, you don't suppose it has anything to do with health issues, do you?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't.
He's just kicking it back.
Yeah, look, I know he's got a big family and they want him home, and that's great. But I mean, man, 1 day a week, and the average American goes out and works 5 to 6 days a week, and they still have time for their families. You can't do 1 day, Roman. You can't work 1 day. Come on, man. Just 1 day.
It's the ones.
It's 1 day. This is what it's for. The 1 day a week Roman Reigns has to work.
We got a one finger up.
That's it.
Oh my God. All right. Well, Matt, tell everybody a little bit about WrestleZone if they don't know about it and where they can check it out and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, WrestleZone.com. We're there for you every day with the latest wrestling news, rumors, reports, interviews, podcasts, you name it. We've got everything on there. Every Monday night before Raw, we have Lost in the Mid Card, which is our weekly podcast on WrestleZone with myself and Jeremy Bennett. We break down the week that was in professional wrestling, leading you right into Monday Night Raw. We're kind of like your unofficial pregame for Raw every week. So if you're hyped for Raw on Monday night, you want to hop in a chat room, talk some wrestling with us before the show, come check out Lost in the Mid Card. It's always a good time.
That sounds great. Matt, it is always a pleasure to have you on the show. We have a great time. I love working with you, buddy. Of course.
Yeah, I always love coming on here, man.
And I appreciate it. So that is going to wrap it up here, by the way. Bionic Scoop says, check him out at the Bionic Scoop. There's your photographer right there. Telling you. He's the man. He's amazing. So, guys, we will see you next week on the Mark Hoke Show. We'll be getting, I guess we'll have a backlash report and all sorts of follow-up from see if Tony Khan's neck's okay. I think mine's a little stiff. I think I whipped it during SportsX Radio on Friday night, so might have to get something for that. But Matt Black, thank you for joining us. We do appreciate it. And, of course, check out SportsX Radio on Sunday. We'll have the podcasts up as soon as I can get them out there. And that's going to do it. Mark Hoke Show on all your social media platforms. Give us a subscription at the Mark Hoke Show. Thanks to everybody for checking us out. And we will see you next week on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. Have a great day, everybody. We will see you next week. Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join The Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.
Paid for by government. Did you hear? A secret hoard of 1907 $10 gold Liberty coins has been found. These gorgeous 1907p gold coins are as bright and shiny as the